So when I was in middle school, I had only one goal, and it was to become a trader. So everything I did as a student was to service that goal. And once I got my foot into the door, I did everything I could because I was eyeing the top of the corporate ladder. I worked incessantly for 5 long years. 7 a.m. starts, 14-hour days, lunch on my desk every day. And the only sunlight I ever got was from the 6 monitors in front of me. Now, in a typical TED Talk, this usually follows with a list of accomplishments that justify that pivot. The pivot where I quit my job. Not to go to another bank, not to join a hedge fund. I just quit, full stop. This is not a success story. This is a story about someone who took risk and has no idea what is at the end of the road. People who have made it, they always say, take risk, high risk, high reward, low risk, low reward. And of course they say that, because it worked out for them. That's survivorship bias. So today, I want to talk about taking risk, not from the perspective of someone who has made it, but from the perspective of someone who took risk, is at the start of the climb where the future is uncertain. PowerPoint, sorry. Sorry about that. So, not all risks are created equal. Every life decision comprises of a risk profile that has 3 components. A, the probability of success. B, if it succeeds, what's the upside? And C, if it fails, what's the downside? An upside doesn't necessarily mean monetary value. It could mean anything: happiness, personal growth, flexibility, whatever that matters to you. So my favorite type of decision looks like this: asymmetric, where the upside is unlimited and the downside is capped. Because if it doesn't work out, it doesn't affect your life. And if it does, it is life-changing. So in my life, I took 2 asymmetric bets that changed my life. The first was when I was 20 years old. I was attending an event, and the managing director of a very prestigious bank happened to be a speaker. And he just left after the speech, and he was waiting for an elevator. And being young and hungry at that time, I thought to myself, go ask for a job. And the other voice in my head just said, that's crazy. Because at that time, I only had 2 months of internship experience. He's gonna say no, most likely. But I thought about it. What's the downside? He rejects me. He laughs at me. We have an awkward conversation. But that's it. My life moves on. Nothing changes. But what's the upside? A job at Morgan Stanley. So I mustered my courage and I walked up to him. I gave him a 30-second pitch about myself. And I said, I will work for you. He was taken aback and he said he liked my gumption. So he gave me his business card. And the second day, I drafted this perfect email, perfect CV with a lot of effort. I knew that the probability was low. I didn't expect him to reply, but I still put in that effort because I have nothing to lose. And he responded. He gave me 10 interviews. 1 week later, I had a job. And till this day, it still surprises me that this one random decision I made is what kickstarted my career. And those 5 years, they changed me. It shaped me. The mindset, the relationships, and the professional credibility that still holds today. That's positive asymmetry. Now, to be clear, there were many, many bets that I took that failed. But the interesting thing is I don't remember any of them. And that's because when the downside is capped, the failures, they fade with time. But the successes, they compound, and then they define you. The same was true when I tried to start social media. the probability of making out in social media starting from zero is objectively quite low. But the upside is unlimited. And what's the downside? My colleagues judging me, some mean comments, and weekends when I should have been resting, I was editing and recording videos. But the downside, it was fixed. It's survivable. So I took the bet. And for a long time, I was recording videos that no one was watching. But one day, luck kicked in, and it worked out. So as I took more and more risk, I realized that risk is like a muscle. You've got to build it. The first time you send a cold email, your hands are shaking. And the first time you're making a TEDx speech, it's mortifying. I'm telling you that, it's mortifying. But you realize that nothing catastrophic happens. And then you do it again and again until you realize that risk is not associated with danger. You develop a healthy relationship with uncertainty. So back to the story of why I quit. I quit to run for Miss Hong Kong. Yes, I know, a beauty pageant. And I know how that sounds. 我受到了什么打击? Let me break it down for you. So the downside of doing this is extremely huge. You face public embarrassment, and strangers scrutinize you from head to toe. And also, I had to quit my job, so that was 1 year of foregone income. But it's still fixed. It's under control. But what was the upside? So, as I said, upside is not just money, but the upside's definition is different for everyone. And there's no right or wrong answer. To some, upside might be stability, and for some, upside might be money. But for me, it's the combination of personal growth, unique experiences, and happiness. So you ask, what's the upside of doing this? First, I get once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I can one day tell my grandkids, look, your grandma was not only good-looking, she was also bold. And then, what else? It opens doors to very unique experiences in showbiz that I would otherwise not have access. And also, if I did win, it could open doors, the title could open doors. So at that time, even though the probability of winning was unknown, I still thought it was a structurally good risk to take a bet on. And yes, I got first runner-up. So this opportunity did unlock a lot of opportunities for me. The first was I got to host a game show, and the second was I got to host a financial segment, which, even though it was 2 minutes, was something. Then I started to have an idea. Why don't I combine my background in finance and my experience in hosting to become some sort of financial anchor, to interview the best minds in business, to bring them together with people and show them the best ideas, maybe. So I started working towards getting this master's degree in business journalism to pivot my career. And to do that, I had to study for the GRE, which is this exam for master's studies. And in this exam, there's a lot of very archaic vocabulary that even as a native speaker, I've never heard of them before. So I discovered the pain and the tedious process that it takes for ESL learners to memorize vocabulary. So I had an idea, an app that utilizes mnemonics to help efficient memorization. And that is the bet I'm taking now. I have a vision. I want to build an app that makes memorization easy. I want to build an app that makes forgetting hard. Right now, I am just a co-founder of an app, and my MVP is still half done. So that's basically euphemism for being unemployed. But I know the downside. 9 to 12 months of building something that potentially no one ever uses, but I'm fine with that. Why is that? Because I know that the experience I get from entrepreneurship is cheaper and more practical than an MBA. And I know the probability of success is low, but if it works, it will genuinely help students. It can eliminate rote memorization and make learning fun and easy. And it could also lead to opportunities that I can still not yet foresee. Yes, my future is uncertain. And yes, I could probably fail, but even with that in mind, I urge you to take asymmetric risk. I'm not telling you to quit your job like me. I'm not telling you to take dramatic leaps. All I'm asking for you is to reevaluate the way you look at risk. Next time when you're faced with a decision, instead of asking, is it scary? Ask, what is the shape of risk? Because if the upside is infinite and downside is capped and the cost is only for yours to bear, you should take that bet. That's not recklessness, that's asymmetric risk. Send that email, apply for that role, start that project, take that bet. Thank you.